So now to bring on our final speaker, and this is Michelle Richardson, coming all the way from Australia. So Michelle is a pioneering Australian healer and author who overcame childhood bullying, learning challenges, and family dysfunction to become a global advocate for natural, non-surgical healing. With certifications in fitness, mental health, energy medicine, and an education in lymphology, she now helps others reverse illness by tapping into the body's innate intelligence and sharing real stories of transformation through her writing and work. Her topic this morning is lymphology, lymphatic system. Welcome to the Ascend Your Path stage, Michelle.
Thank you, Diane, and thank you, amazing speakers. Wow, what I'm about to say will tie this all in together. But first of all, let's all shake our hands. Shake, shake, get up and move your feet. Get the blood pumping. Yay, yay. I was once a aerobic queen. So get the blood flowing because we've got 20 minutes. I've got so much to say, and I'll just let the source God speak through me and share my story and what I have to share with you. Being a lymphologist, interesting topic and where I started from. Okay, like Gigi, Dr. Gigi, and yeah, the other speaker. I've forgotten. Sorry,
Maxine.
Oh, Maxine. Thank you, Maxine. Yeah, it all ties in about fear. Okay, and breaking away, and no attachments, and being your authentic self. So what happened is, I was cruising along life, and I was helping elderly people in nursing homes. I love working with pregnant women, with children. I started businesses, personal training, allied health professional, working with professionals, OTs, physios, chiropractors, a lot of community work. And there was always a key, a piece of the puzzle missing. Because I could always get so far. And then I met this gentleman on social media, and he said, Michelle, before about the lymphatic system. I go, what is that? This is 2016. Look, sorry guys, but Australia is backwards compared to the rest of the world. And I'm not putting us down, but we're, 20 years behind. We're catching up. And the charge of dis-ease and illnesses in the world globally was going ballistic. Childhood obesity, heart attacks, cancers, diabetes, autoimmune disorder, arthritis, from A to Z. And I could only get so far. So how was I going to help people with these challenges? And then I met my mentors. I haven't been taught at university, but I have, my belief, my education has been with the best in the world. Just my belief. And when we respect everyone's education and everyone helps everyone, that's the most amazing energy field we can all have. We just share everything together. So, when I fell into lymphology, and the founder of lymphology, Professor Carl Samuel West, and he talked about the whole. everything resides around the lymphatic system. Now, the lymphatic system is the second most important system next to the blood. If we don't have a lymphatic system, we die. Literally, we would explode with rotten crap in us. Literally. And that's emotional crap, cellular crap, food crap, everything. The body will only take in what it needs to grow. Everything else gets thrown out in the bin. The spaces in between the cells, I call it space junk. We've all got it, whether you're a small structure or a large structure. And this space junk impinges on nerves, joints, brain, eyes, heart, lungs, endocrine system, hormone system, everything. 12 different systems in our body that make us. Now we have trillions and trillions of cells that are alive, that make us, and every microsecond they die, and every microsecond they live. If our organs didn't regenerate, we die. We'd all be dead and there'd be no humans. But we slowly rot out because we don't do the right thing by this amazing spirit that travels in our amazing bodies. We've all got amazing bodies. And through past lives, if you want to believe that, through utero, for that magic explosion of energy, and that explosion of energy, guess what it's got? Cellular memory. This is all going to intertwine with the last two beautiful, amazing speakers. The cellular memory from the heavens above comes down and makes that beautiful utero into a baby. And that's in the cellular of the cells of the mitochondria, the brain. You can't see it in the naked eye. You have to blow it up 100,000 times under a microscope. Now, I can talk for hours, right? So please, Diane, give me the, time to go. Okay, so once you've got the cellular memory, it's in our body. And we can get rid of that cellular memory through the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system has got one-track valves that go up the body and toward the heart. And we've got the major bin, which is our large intestines, and our liver. Our liver is quite large. Now, our liver is a vacuum cleaner. It goes like a Pac-Man. I don't know if there's anyone younger who doesn't remember Pac-Man, but Pac-Man was in the 80s. Chomps everything up and spits it out, like your lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system will chew everything up, move it along the lymphatic vessels, into the chambers, into the lymph node pockets, neck, armpits, through the thoracic chest, in a groin, under your knees, okay? And it will come back as pure water back into the bloodstream. 30% of it will be dumped through your liver, your large intestine, small intestines, out your bowel, out your bladder. Now, if we have too much space junk, we become acidic. Acidic means we're rotting out, we're tearing, we're getting holes in our organs. Now, if that's happening in your large intestines, you're leaking space junk, toxic dump into your hormones, into your pelvis, into your hip joints. And now it becomes all jagged and different shapes because the body needs oxygen. Every cell needs to breathe life. And if you've got space junk around the cell, right, it can't breathe life, so it's dying. So the bone is calcium. It's alive. Now, if you haven't got enough oxygen around the bones, around your hip joints, and you're acidic, the body's really smart and it's going to pull calcium out of the bone to buffer down the blood. Now your bone's starting to decay, starting to rot because it hasn't got enough of essential minerals and vitamins to make a nice strong bone. And so it starts to get all jagged and starts to get scar tissue and calcification between the bone. And now we got bone on bone. And guess what? With lymphatic drainage and non-surgical practices, which I've learned from amazing doctor, Dr. Gerald Wolf, where we can use our elbow to get in there and break up the scar tissue, and with the energy of a true practitioner, energy. I don't believe in that word healer. That's just me, because everyone's a healer. Everyone. It's what we choose, and that's okay. So with the, the energy, when you rub your hands together, everyone rub their hands together. What are you creating? A friction and heat. That's electricity. Now that electricity is in us. That's us. Now you've heard of kidney stones and gallbladder stones and blockages in the arteries, the veins, right? Now when the body creates a lot of space junk, our electricity frequency goes down. But we need electricity to break up the blockages, to allow new forms of veins, arteries, get rid of lumps, bumps, lesions, all those things that doctors talk about. And the body actually gets rid of it. When you are educated in the right way, we can change cellular structure. And I believe, my teaching and my belief, that our DNA is our cellular memory. And that can be changed. I believe we don't have to have what our parents have. We can carry that through memory, but with positivity and what the other beautiful presenters said about fear and taking off your mask, we can change that identity, change that cellular structure into beautiful, healthy cells that actually make us younger, make us stronger, better, vitality, amazing spirit that can fly, Could you imagine, this is my vision, to have non-surgical therapy and lymphology hospitals where we don't have to rely on drugs? There ain't no diseases in my world. I haven't been to a doctor since I gave birth to my daughter 33 years ago. I haven't taken any medication, no drugs. I've had pain, yes. I'm human, I think. But, I've been educated to, when you get off your bike and when you fall off your bike when you're younger, you got up and you brushed yourself off. Right? You got the blood flow, the oxygen back, instead of the inflammation forming and swelling, which blocks the oxygen and causes pain. You get it moving, you get on and you get back on your bike and you get going. But what happens in life when people start to say you can't do that, you've got this, and they put the fear of you in you, and you don't know where to turn because we don't know what we don't know, so we don't know what to do. Even though we don't want to really go down that track because we know the side effects and it could be a long-term recovery, and we still do it. Lymphology and lymphatic system has not been shared for 100 years. There's a business in the world that has taken over the health of everyone, and we haven't allowed them to have a choice. And this is no fault of anyone else's. It's just a business, and they believe in their business. But then they're saying also there's no one else should step up and be alongside them. Imagine if we all work together. I haven't had one doctor ring me or one specialist say, hey, Michelle, I had a client last week and she came to me 2 weeks ago because 18 months ago she ruptured her Achilles and just sprained her ankle badly. She's in her 60s playing pro tennis. And they said, you have to give up tennis and you think you have to have surgery. 18 months of physio and chiropractic work was still swollen. One session, and she came in with a bandage or support structure on the ankle. She walked out without a support structure, and the swelling had almost gone and 90% pain left. No, I don't need to make things up. Once you know how to do it, and I teach this, we can all do it. She went back to a specialist, and because people can't explain what I do, she said to a specialist, Michelle gave me massage. And the specialist said, well, I don't think you should go back, because it's not going to do anything for you. And she said, look, I'm 90% better. And she came back this week and went back to a doctor too, because we are loyal to our doctors, sometimes more loyal to our doctors than our partners. Right? I won't say any more about that. And her doctor said, if it's working for you, great, continue. So she came back and I did it again, but I worked on some other areas as well. And she walked out pain-free. And she said, do I need to come back? I go, no, only if you wish to come back. And she goes, well, that's amazing. I said, no, it's not. Your body, once you trust me, this is a big thing. And this goes back to our two beautiful speakers talking about trusting. Once you trust in your practitioner, magic happens. When you own it, and I gave her the education and the choice to own her ability to heal her body through my knowledge. But it's not my knowledge, it's the whole world's knowledge. From masters throughout history and a true one up above. I can tap into that source. I'm very intuitive and I can release negative energy in the cellular structure talking to people, innate intelligence. This is energy medicine. Some people call it Reiki, some people call it something else, but I just call it just the energy of the universe, God source. And that communicates to me, to the person. You know that when you walk into a room, you can feel the energy and you go, wow, I feel great. And other times you walk in a room, you go, oh my God, I don't really want to be here. But you stay there. And then people say, Michelle, aren't you worried about people sapping your energy? Well, that's another belief system. It's all about what you believe. I said, no. I have this natural ability just to believe. And someone asked me a very powerful question only a couple of months ago. And she goes, Michelle, what made you believe in yourself? I said, wow, that's really, and why don't you ever get sick? I go, wow. Well, I thought two things came to my mind. One is I always believed in the power of your innate intelligence, your spirit. I would get downloads or voices in my head when I was younger, and I thought I was going crazy, right? But I kept it to myself. I kept silent for about 35 years. I didn't really talk a lot. I just listened. And the second one was I always loved to help people. It was just in my nature through my mum. I'm a triplet, three of me. One's in heaven and the other one's around the corner. Okay? And my mum was a beautiful spirit. But she had very tough times. 5 kids under the age of 5 in the 60s. And mum always said, out of the 3 of us, right? With the same parents, but all 3 of us had different personalities. And mum always said to me, Michelle, you go and help this person. I was helping assisting a physio when I was 10 years old with a boy my age down the road who had polio and in calipers. And we used to get him on the monkey bars and do exercises. Why mum picked me, I don't know. Maybe she had a sense knowing. Mums do. But why did 3 of us all have different personalities? Where did that come from? Mum and Dad were the same with all of us. Interesting thought, isn't it? When you think about emotional memory. That frequency when we're, in the conception of energy and an explosion, did I have something different come into me to make me, and Julie and Sharon, my sisters, did they have something different as well? Of course. 3 different spirits. But that influences around our lives as we moved on through childhood, teenage years to adulthood, influenced our behaviors, our belief systems, our personality, because what we really want to achieve is our spirit, not our personality. Because my daughter had a beautiful spirit. She was gorgeous. But as a teenager, her personality was really cranky. But she grew out of that, came back to her spirit. Okay, so back to the lymphatic system. Okay, if we don't move and eat right, and in the 21st century, boy, are we bombarded with, I don't like to say this word often, but a lot of SHIT, shit. Our food, the air we breathe, the water we drink, the negative thinking, all that gets stored as space junk around the spaces of the cell. And through gentle massage or non-surgical, where we get a bit deeper and we actually lovingly, break up the fibers of the calcium that's formed, calcium deposits on anywhere throughout the very body, but I'll say the knee, then the knee gets deformed. and then there's not enough oxygen or fluid around the knee, then the ligaments and tendons start to get dehydrated and become like beef turkey. And then you go to move and they splinter because they've got acid, because the body's dumping down inflammation to try to protect the cells. The fluid that makes a blister on a finger is the protection of the cell. That's saying to us, stop, don't do any more gardening. But you go, I just want to finish it, or I got to do another 4 hours, otherwise my boss is going to kill me. So we end up with more blisters, if not worse, calluses. Calluses are hard mess of scar tissue. Now imagine that in your ovaries because you hate yourself, because you've had a bad experience in life. You don't want anyone to touch you again, but you can't clear. I've got a client, 21, or another client, a beautiful lady. I don't have clients, sorry. I have people. And she is so afraid because she had horrible, horrible experience, not once, but 3 times. And she's afraid of being kidnapped. And guess what size she is? 20. And she's on Ozempic. I don't even know how you spell that drug. And her face, she's got facial hair. Now, her doctors have told her that there's no way out, that she has to go on this way, this management plan. I said, you're not diseased. You're just wrapped in sadness and grief. And why me? So this week I said, you got to go and book into a self-defense class, take your best friend, and you're going to go and do self-defense. So you get out of the fear of being kidnapped. She goes, oh, I've never thought about that. I go, yeah, I did it. 16, 17, 18. I was the 2 girls in the whole age of karate. Ha, ha. I still remember it. And I'm 58. I've used it twice. And it's great because it just builds up your confidence and gets rid of the space junk. Because when you move and you have the positivity, which our beautiful other presenters have said, life changes. Now, I've got 101 case studies I wrote and put out this year. I wrote that in 12 months. I didn't even use an AI. Yeah, I know. and the stories are not all happy endings, and because they're real. Because at the end of the day, we've got to make the choice to move forward or stay in space junk. Now, if you stay in space junk, your waistline expands, your hips expand, your breasts expand, because our breasts, after they do their job of feeding our beautiful babies, they become bins and lumps. In my profession, I've stopped people having knee surgery, hip surgery, pelvic floor, lifted that up because your body knows where everything should be. Your body naturally goes into alignment and it knows it. But it can't go into alignment if you've got space junk sitting on the pelvic floor and it's being squashed, that muscle, and that muscle can't contract or relax. So it's getting weaker and weaker, and it's getting rotten and tearing. And guess what we've got? Leakage. And now women are coming to me at 50 wearing pads. What the? And they go, well, we don't know what to do. And they only find me through chance of, actually, most of them get on their hands and knees and pray to God. Truly. And they open up the Google and they find me on the internet, or it's from someone. And everyone goes, I must tell my friends, my hubby, my husband must come and see you because of blah. No, you can't make anyone do anything. Just lead by example. I have people who come to me who aren't even into the spiritual realm. And I just have to keep very centered and medical. And then I blow your minds. And then I've got people who are very spiritual and need that sort of love and that attention, but put a bit of medical in it. It's a communication is very powerful. So the lymphatic system, if you, what can I say? If it becomes stuck and clogged, you're clogged. If you stink, if you need roll-on, if you need spray, if your toes smell, if you got rotten toes, you're full of rot. And I'm sorry to say, but this is my belief. No doctor, no specialist can clear that out. They can give you helpful hints and say you got to do A, B, C, D, but you have to do it. And then if you're rotting out, your inner cells are communicating with the mitochondria, and the telomeres, antennas, can't communicate. So your body's preparing to die. But you're not going to die, you're suffering. And how many people suffer? My triplet sister did, Julie, 5 years cancer. And every second person I know is suffering through dis-ease in the body. To me, there's no disease. All right, take home. And then quickly questions. Take home. Oh my God, that went so fast. Believe that you have the ability to change your whole physical body, but it starts with the emotion, invisible, which is the emotional. But realize your space junk. If you feel you got lumps, or your bones aren't smooth through your collarbone, and I felt skulls that are rock hard and they're deformed. And they're people who've got senile dementia because they're on fire in their brain. And then they've got medication that puts them on heavy metals. I mean, I can talk for hours. So any questions?